someone's going to pick him up and use it. If he proves that he can still pitch at the major league level, someone's going to pick him up off the waiver wire, and he's going to take the opportunity to pitch.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I am one of your hosts, Stacey Gotsulias. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. With me, as usual, my co-host, Brian McKeon. Brian, it's another Friday.
Yeah, we're almost at the start of the season.
I can't believe it. Before we get started, don't forget, subscribe to the podcast on whichever podcasting platform you prefer. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube, like our videos, hit the bell so you're notified when our videos go live. Coming up on today's show, it's Fan Mail Friday. We answer your burning questions about the Yankees, AL East chances, a possible reunion with an old friend, and much, much more. So let's get started. If you're new to the show, we start off every Fan Mail Friday with questions from our Locked On Yankees insiders. We will tell you how to join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club later in the show. And we always start off with our friend Betty. She says, "What a week. I wish our biggest conversation could still be about the beards." Sad emoji. But we need to be upbeat fans now more than ever. So with the regular season just 2 weeks away, can each of you give me your opening day lineup?
Not really. Because I don't know where they're going to go with the opening day lineup. There's a million different directions that they can go in of who they're going to lead off. I mean, I don't think they really have a true leadoff hitter yet in the middle of this lineup. I'll give you guarantees. How about that? I think Aaron Judge is definitely going to be batting second in this lineup. There's no doubt about that. I really wonder if you're going to get Cabrera or Peraza at third base. I don't know where I feel like they're going to go Cabrera. But I'd love to see Peraza just get a really good shake at it. I'd love to see Anthony Volpe at the start of the lineup. I don't think he will be. It would be great to see him there, though. I think Jazz will be somewhere in the 5 or 6 spot or somewhere around there. I think Goldschmidt will follow Bellinger, who will follow Judge. So I think that's the middle of the lineup kind of rounded out. Any credence, Stacey, to Austin Wells leading off? That story's been out there.
Yeah, I mean, they've been putting him there, so I don't know what's going on. Like, if they like what they see from him. I know he's hit in that spot. Are you of the belief that needs to be set for like the whole season? Or do you think it's a matchup thing?
Yeah, this is one of the few spots where I actually do subscribe to old-timey yell at the cloud baseball fan. I do. A consistent lineup all year works. I think baseball players are creatures of habit. And I do think baseball players tend to thrive more off consistency. And I think over the last few years around Major League Baseball, the teams that have had the most consistent lineups are often the ones that win the most too. And consistently too. Teams that switch it up every single day don't tend to win as much. The 1 year the Yankees switched their lineup up a million times is coincidentally the worst year they had in the last 20. So
right.
I don't love changing your lineup every single day. I don't think players can get into a good rhythm that way. So I do think the lineup should stay consistent all year. Again, use the first month to try things out, but overall, I think it should stay consistent.
Right. I would agree with that.
Stacey, David F., our second question of the day, says, now that we are without Cole for this season, what was the last Yankee starter that dominated games like Cole? Cece? That was his question.
I think so, right? Because I'm trying to think of other starters in the last...
I don't even think at his best, though, CeCe was ever Cole. CeCe's a Hall of Famer. That's how crazy good Cole is. No one was ever striking out 200 guys with ease. He's that good, Gerrit Cole. I don't think they've had a guy like Gerrit Cole at his level in a long time.
Since Ron Guidry when he was
striking
people up out left and right.
That was the name that honestly came to mind. And Gerrit Cole broke Guidry's strikeout record in how many seasons with the Yankees? I mean, it's they've always had good pitching, but never on this level. I mean, Gerrit Cole is a top 15 pitcher of all time level. So I don't know. I mean, in all respect to Stacey, I love the guy, but like, I don't even think he was ever on the level that Cole is.
Yeah, Cole is definitely at quite a level. Like, people always forget that was the same year Judge won the MVP, right? And hit the 62 home runs. So they always forget that Cole had over 250 strikeouts that year. That kind of
Which
like
is
fell by the wayside.
absurd.
Yeah.
Like 250 strikeouts is an absurd season that people don't. I mean, Stacey, these are the strikeout numbers since he got to the Yankees. The 60-game season, 94 strikeouts. Then 243, 257, 222. That's insane. Like 180 strikeout season is really, really, really good.
Yeah.
Giving you
yeah.
over 240 multiple times. Like, yeah, it's insane how good he's been. It really is. And that's not to mention that year, with that crazy year with Houston where he had 326 strikeouts.
That's ludicrous. That's ludicrous. Thanks for the question, David. Up next, Ruben. He starts with, I hate to ask this, but if another pitcher gets injured, who is the next pitcher called up from the minors? Carrasco if he stays, or someone else?
I doubt he'll stay. Because he's, someone's going to pick him up and use it. If he proves that he can still pitch at the major league level, someone's going to pick him up off the waiver wire, and he's going to take the opportunity to pitch. I don't know. It can't be Chase Hampton because he's coming off the injury still. I mean, that's the next guy on the pecking order, but he's not
coming off still. He literally just had Tommy John. He's going to be gone for a while.
Yeah, so he's not going to be available. I don't think they have another guy in their pipeline that's like ready to make a major league debut at this point. Their pitching depth is not very strong, so I don't think they have that. Knock on wood, if they have to face that problem, then you're seriously going after the trade market, or it's like legitimately Lance Lynn. Like that's actually signing a veteran off a cheap contract. That's all you could do at that point.
Wasn't someone linked to Lance Lynn on Thursday? I thought I saw something.
Possibly. I mean, I'm assuming he's going to sign with someone at some point.
And it wasn't the Yankees.
No.
I can't remember who it was. I saw it on Blue Sky. And the person who quote tweeted the info said, meanwhile, the Yankees are sitting on their hands.
What are they supposed to do right now? You really want them to go out and get Lance Lynn?
Well,
they just lost Gerrit Cole,
Yeah. But again, you can't replace Gerrit Cole, but you can tack on to the end of the rotation, which is what they need to do at some point. Yeah. We'll see what happens.
True. Casey asks, if you could change one thing about your career, what would it be? That's interesting. And number two, if you could change one thing about this Yankees team besides anything injury related, what would it be? Well, that's a really tough question because their season has completely changed based on injuries.
I would have changed managers.
I'll go a realistic path because Aaron Boone's got a job for life. Keeping Juan Soto, because I would have loved to see what him and Judge would have done for a 5-year stretch together. Like I think they would have broken every Yankee power record there is. So that's mine. One thing about your career you would have changed. You have one?
I probably would have started seriously blogging about baseball sooner than I did. I sort of did, but I didn't really seriously do it. I did it on my own. I didn't try to write for other places, and I really didn't do like a dedicated Yankees blog, and I probably should have done that in the early 2000s because then that could have led to something sooner. And, it took me getting laid off and then having a nervous breakdown to start writing about baseball because I couldn't leave my house. So that's how I kind of fell into the writing about baseball career. And, I always wanted to, but my job was just so draining that I couldn't really dedicate time to write about the Yankees. I had enough time to watch them at night, but, the 9 to 5 was really 8:30 to 7 some days. So it was just, I probably would have blogged about baseball earlier. That's
I mean, if I could change something, it would be making my on-air debut sooner than it actually happened. I mean, I know not everyone in this industry gets to get on the air, and I'm very grateful for that opportunity, but there's a lot of behind the scenes and not made public people in the radio industry who grind and grind and grind. And, many of you aren't aware, but people that are behind the scenes in radio make no money, and people who are on the air make great money. And is a very, very long hustle to work behind the scenes and make someone sound good when all you're trying to do is get a minute of the opportunity that person's doing. So it's a struggle, and I struggled for a while, making very little money and commuting into Manhattan and working crazy hours just to try and get my opportunity. So I guess if I could change anything, it would be to get that opportunity a little quicker, but I love where I'm at right now in the industry. I love doing this show, and it's the perfect work-life balance right now. So I wouldn't change where I'm at right now, but I would have definitely tried to get on a little sooner.
Yeah, I like what I ended up doing. Writing kind of burned me out because I did so much for a while there. At one point I was writing for 4 different websites at the same time, and it was just a lot to have to come up with different things for each place. And thankfully, Baseball Prospectus wasn't that hard for me because I was basically recapping the weekend. So it was easy for me to come up with, I would just go through all the games and stuff like that. But when I had to come up with my own thing, I finally burned out. So the podcast actually came along at the right time for me. So it's just interesting. I went to school for broadcasting, was in sales for 10 years, and then wrote for a while, would guest on podcasts, but I never thought I'd ever host one. And I was always afraid to. I was like, I can't do that. And now here I am, almost 7 years later.
I advise everybody who tells me they want to get into the industry to proceed with caution, because it is a tough spot. If you make it, it's great, but it's really hard to make it.
Yeah. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, hit the notification so you know when our videos go up. By the way, we passed 8,500 subscribers, so thank you for that. That's really awesome. If you'd like to be part of next week's Fan Mail Friday, post a reply underneath the pinned comment on our videos Monday through Thursday. You can ask us anything, or you can join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club, where you get top priority and your questions are answered in segment 1. The link is in the description. It isn't only for Fan Mail Friday. You get text from us. You can text us questions. There's a 14-day free trial. It's a good time. Coming up next, we venture into YouTube questions.
March Madness is here, and FanDuel is giving you the chance to get in on the action like never before. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's $200 extra bucks to use on everything from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories, and even who's cutting down the nets. Now, I got my eye on a few underdogs this season, and FanDuel makes it easy to back them with spreads, totals, and game props. How about the Johnnies? Can they make a Final Four appearance? I think there's a possibility there. With tournament games happening almost every day, there's always something exciting to bet on. It's easy, it's fast, and the FanDuel app is simple to use. When I win, I get paid instantly, and there's no waiting around. So visit FanDuel.com and get in on the college hoops action all tournament long. Stacey, we move over to our YouTube questions portion of Fan Mail Friday. The first one comes from Justin, I'm going to guess Yamas. With the Cole Stanton heel news, how does this affect the hierarchy in the AL East as well as the rest of the AL? I'm going to let you answer this one first because I have a little bit of a promo to do afterwards.
Yeah. Oh, yes. I think it definitely affects the AL East. It definitely affects the rest of the AL. Although I don't think the rest of the AL is affected as much because I wasn't expecting that many teams to be too strong. But the AL East, the Yankees have a chance to be, like, instead of being ahead of other teams by like 5 games, they're going to be right there with them, maybe even possibly a couple of games behind some of them. And they're going to have to really fight to try and get in there. And that changes a lot. We've spoken about it a few times. With Cole gone, there's a 7-game difference in what people are predicting the Yankees to do now. That's a big drop off. Now, you never know. Guys can step up. Other teams can have things happen to them, and the Yankees could come out and win 90 games, even without Gerrit Cole. You never know what's going to happen. But it does definitely change everything. And it also depends on when Heel comes back. If Stanton comes back, there's a lot. So it definitely changes everything. But I don't think it's as bad as everyone thinks it's going to be.
Interesting. So I just finished doing the AL East preview show. It was me and all the other hosts of the AL East teams for Locked On. That will premiere very shortly. It might be out already by the time you're listening to this. So you'll be able to hear all of our predictions and what everybody around the division thinks how the division is going to go. And I reveal on that show, and I guess I had no better time than to reveal it right now on Fan Mail Friday. I think the Boston Red Sox are winning the division. My confidence is growing on them more and more throughout the year. Stacey, I just think they're the most complete team in the division now. I think everywhere they upgraded, they got better at the most important pieces of a baseball team, right? Their lineup got significantly better. Their starting pitching staff is really, really good, and their bullpen got better. They improved everywhere you need to improve off of an already pretty decent team last year. And I do believe once we get to the postseason, they're going to be that team that you're like, oh, God, the Red Sox just the team that you don't want to see in the playoffs. They are built to get through an entire season with Garrett Crochet added to that staff, Brian Bello coming back for another year. You add Walker Buehler, who's not being talked about at all, who could be one of the best pitchers in the American League. They added so much to that team, and it was so under the radar. It really was. So I think Boston's going to wind up winning this division. I think it just does affect the Yankees a lot. Like you said, 7 games is a lot. That's a huge drop-off. And I know Gerrit Cole, like we said, is a generational talent, but a 7-game drop-off is absolutely massive. I think it makes Max Fried one of the biggest contributions in all of Major League Baseball because it might have saved the Yankees season. But yeah, I genuinely believe it's going to be the Red Sox that win this division now.
Yeah. Next up is Blaze 455. David Robertson, still a free agent. Why not fortify the bullpen even more if Cole is out? Use that insurance money to sign Robertson. They don't need a 5th starter. They can start with an opener with bullpen depth that they have. But they don't right now because some of the bullpen guys are actually hurt and some are still coming back from injury.
And let's make it clear, the insurance money they get back is cash value. The Yankees aren't spending or kind of have halted their spending to a sense more because they don't want to go over the luxury tax, not because they don't have the money. They don't need the cash. They need the money to go under the luxury tax for them to avoid them spending even more money. So the insurance money getting back for Cole doesn't really affect anything because it doesn't come off the luxury tax number. Why won't they bring David Robertson back? Because he's almost 40. He's not. He had a 3 ERA last year with Texas. He had a nice year, but does anybody really view David Robertson as an impact pitcher anymore at this point in his career? He's almost 40 years old. He's got good numbers, but the year before that, he had a 5 ERA. I don't think the Yankees have really had much interest in that, to be honest with you.
It really hurt my heart when you said he was almost 40 because I remember
mine too. Mine too. I remember the 09, the really good year he had in 09 out of the bullpen. So it makes me feel old also.
Oh, shut up. You were like 12. Be quiet.
Wall 44, not the age that I am, says, do you think Cash will go for Sandy Alcantara? If so, do you think Spencer Jones will be enough to get him?
No, but he might have to be in there.
Oh, I think he will have to be in there.
Yeah.
Spencer Jones and Will Warren. Does that even get it done? I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah, like that. It's going to be a creative package he's going to have to come up with because Sandy Alcantara is going to command a lot out of the Marlins. And again, with that narrative we've talked about, they're going to have to, like, the Marlins know the Yankees are desperate now. Every team in baseball knows. I was even talking about this in the AL preview show, if they're going to get Arenado or not. And a month ago, it was a lot easier to go get Arenado. Now the Cardinals, like, now you need him, right? They're going to raise the price for everything. So it's tougher to make a trade now than it was all offseason for the Yankees. I'd love Alcantara, and I don't totally hate the idea of blowing it up to get him. But you're going to have to give up a lot, and that's a discussion the Yankees have to make, in-house. Certainly me and Stacey are going to have more of that conversation as the season goes on, but it's tough, really tough.
Yeah, it's also that window's closing.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Guys are getting older. Cole's not going to be back till 2026, probably halfway through 2026. This might be the time to do it.
And late early.
Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, you can't plan for Gerrit Cole's elbow to fall apart.
Explode.
It's now Thursday as we record this. Because I'm not on Twitter, I don't see anything. Did they put anything out saying that he underwent successful surgery? Because it happened on Tuesday. So,
I mean, we know that he went through surgery. That's a really good point from you, though. Nothing was posted about him going through successful surgery, which is
weird.
A very, very strange thing in today's era where they always post.
I mean, literally,
someone
like
going
minutes
through.
after they get out of surgery, they will tweet something out saying so-and-so underwent successful Tommy John surgery. And now it's 2 days. And as this goes up on Friday, will we know? Because
That
that's
makes me a
kind of
little
frightening.
nervous, actually.
Yeah, I just made myself nervous. Maybe I shouldn't have brought that up. All right, next question. Final question of this segment from Stavros8983, Opa. Hi, Stacey. Hi, Brian. Given Cole was a part of the core in the World Series aspirations this year, do you think the Yankees should consider doing a mini retool considering the age of the roster and them winning the division seems far-fetched at this point?
No, because where's the value in making trades? Like who are they trading right now that's going to get back a lot of value? I don't think there's much. Plus, the offseason the Yankees had would tell you they're not really in a position to trade. What are you going to do? Turn around and trade Bellinger immediately?
Right.
You know what I mean? There's not a lot of guys out there. I guess Austin Wells would have a crazy amount of value, but he's so young. Would you really want to move on from him? Anthony Volpe is a guy you want to build around, so you're not going to trade him.
Well, who the heck are you going to have as catcher if you trade
Well,
Austin
yeah, I mean,
Wells?
yeah, exactly. I mean, they can find scrap heap guys, but there's not a lot of guys on the roster right now that are movable pieces that are going to get a lot of value back for. So I don't think they're in a good position to retool. I don't. So no, I don't think there's potential for that. And they also acquired a bunch of these guys, like even like a Devin Williams, who'd get a lot back for. He's not a guy you want to move on from. You want to keep him and see what and re-sign him potentially. So yeah, I think that. I don't think they're built right now to really do that.
Right. I would agree with that. All right. Coming up next, more YouTube questions. By the way, you did a really good job on YouTube. I'm proud of you guys, especially because you left all the questions underneath the pinned comment like the directions say. So good on you. You're coming up next.
You ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's very easy to lose track. And that's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending all in one place. So you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. When I started using Monarch, I realized just how much I was spending on food delivery. And now I budget smarter and I save way more. Instead of juggling multiple apps, I can use Monarch to check my finances, track spending, and even plan for those long-term goals. Managing money with your partner is smoother than ever. You can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without the stress. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year.
Well, we were just wondering about Cole, and I happened to check my phone while Brian was doing his live read, and looky here. From Brendan Cuddy of The Athletic, Gerrit Cole had full UCL reconstruction surgery in addition to an internal brace, a Yankees spokesman says. That's still Tommy John, just with the internal brace to fortify it. Typical recovery time frame still stands. So he's going to be like Bionic Man between having the UCL repaired and then also having the brace. Gerrit Cole's going to pitch till he's 55 if that's the case.
Let's hope so. Then his contract will be
Yeah.
a good number.
Yeah. So I just figured I'd add that in case people didn't see. So, all right. I mean, that's just really odd that we talked about it and I just happened to check my phone and I was like, oh, there it is. They posted it about an hour before we started recording.
There you go.
So,
and the Yankees didn't post it though, because I went to the Yankees account and they didn't write anything, which is strange that the team wouldn't release anything. But yeah, good news, I guess, on that front. Let's go to T-Bird1549. He says, Fan Mail Friday question. Do you think Cashman will make moves to improve the team with the injuries that occurred? If not now, by the trade deadline?
I really feel like trade deadline is going to be the time because right now the team can tread water until the trade deadline. I don't envision them coming out and being absolutely horrible. I feel like they have enough pieces to survive for now. I think look to the trade deadline. Look to the cookie. Just kidding. Look to the trade deadline that's when things will happen.
I'd fully agree with you. I'd say the move I think they make is Nolan Arenado. I think it's going to cost more, but I still think they're going to have to do that. They've never shown belief in Cabrera full-time anywhere, and they've never shown belief in Peraza full-time in the major league level. So unless one of them takes off, I think they're going to have to force themselves to go out and get Nolan Arenado and just try to win with scoring.
Yeah. Thank you for the question. Up next, Charles Darwin, 180. Wow. Brewers fan here. Last year, the Brewers lost their two top starters in Corbin Burns and Brandon Woodruff. So Pat Murphy stepped up and pitched a boatload of different starters and utilized the bullpen like never before. The Brewers ended up winning the division with ease. The big question is, do the Yankees have a quality manager that can outmaneuver his opponents like Pat Murphy did?
No, they don't. Nor do the Yankees let their manager go off the beaten path and try new things out. The Yankees are unbelievably beholden to the analytics, and they're going to do whatever the numbers tell them to do. So, no, they don't have that ability at all, which is very upsetting. The Brewers are also a team that really does a good job at moving off the fly. They can lose people and replace them in an instant, pretty much. They won the division last year off a lot of really good, timely hitting. Also, combined with playing in a really bad division last year, the Cubs never seemed to take off last year. Bellinger had a down year. The Cubs didn't have any starting pitching last year. You combine that with the St. Louis Cardinals having the worst record they've had in 30-plus years. It really was a walkway. You combine that with the easy divisional schedule for them, it's a walkway to winning the division pretty easily. So, no, I don't think the Yankees have the capability of doing that.
Yeah, I don't either. But thank you for being a Brewers fan and watching our show. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. I agree. I love the Brewers, too. Great stadium. Nick NY says, with all the injuries already, what are your thoughts on the Yankees keeping the team as is for this season, then regroup next year? I'd love to see them go hard after Kyle Tucker.
I mean, I would have liked to have seen them go after Kyle Tucker already, but they didn't.
Yeah. I don't know. The Kyle Tucker thing's interesting because his market changes with Vlad also being a free agent next year, right? If one of those guys that have been taken off the market going into next offseason, you could have potentially said, all right, him being the only guy available is going to create a higher number for him. But with Vlad and him being available, I wonder what winds up happening there. I'm skeptical of whether the Yankees find themselves involved in one of those negotiations for Kyle Tucker, because I don't know if the big spenders will be involved in that. The Cubs might spend for him if they fall in love with him. I don't know if the Mets are going to have a huge need for Kyle Tucker unless they just feel like they want to steal a guy the Yankees want again. So maybe that's something they'll do. But I think the Mets are going to be focused on Vlad Guerrero Jr. So the Yankees might be able to get Tucker back on a price they kind of want him for. I think the Red Sox will be in on Tucker. It's going to be an interesting one. I would love Kyle Tucker. I don't know if the Yankees are going to be involved in like a $500 million sweepstakes next offseason, though.
Right. Speaking of the Mets, we had a Met fan leave a comment. Remember how we asked on yesterday's show how they thought or how they felt about the documentary. He said he was excited about the documentary because he's never seen the behind the scenes of signing a player and how it goes.
I get that. No, I don't have a problem with that. I just think that as a franchise to do the documentary is weird. But his opinion on being excited for it makes total sense. Yeah, I think that's very valid.
Right. But it's also because it's Juan Soto and they took him away from the Yankees. That's the only reason why it's the only reason why they're doing it. It's the only reason why they're doing it. Again, if it was San Diego, this thing would not have been made. Anyway, okay. Last question. What the hell is Ansky? Asks, watching Dominguez in the outfield this spring is concerning. He's not very disciplined at the plate either. Do you think it's too soon for him to come up? Okay. He's improving a bit in the field. He made a very hard catch the other day. He hit a home run on Thursday, and he smacked the bejesus out of it. He's looking better at the plate. There's still 2 weeks until opening day. They have players coming in to help him out. I don't think we need to give up on him yet.
Give up on him. Stacey, when he came up 2 years ago, he hit the cover off the ball at the major league level. He's proven he can hit the major league level already. He has proven it's not too soon to call him up already. In that month span where he was unbelievable, he proved that to you that he can hit major league
on a shredded elbow because he hurt that elbow that first game.
Shredded elbow. So oh, come on, guys, come on. It's a little bit of struggle in the outfield, and also he's made a lot of good plays since the struggling has started in the outfield. But we just don't report on those because no one cares. Everyone just cares about the doom and gloom.
Right. The under the microscope is only the bad plays. They don't care about the good plays.
Yeah, exactly. So, no, I think he's already proven to us that he can play at the major league level. Is the fielding a little bit of a concern? Sure, but I'd call it a worry at this point, not a concern.
Yeah, he'll get used to it. He's really athletic, and I think...
And 21! And 21!
Yeah, that's true too. Because I saw someone say something about him, and they were like, he's like 24 by now. I'm like, he's not that old.
Nope.
He's not that old yet. I don't think, right? He's not that old yet.
Nope.
All right. Just wanted to double check on that because I don't know what year it is. I don't know what is going on. The fact that David Robertson's going to be 40 is just really throwing me off.
Yeah, Jasson Dominguez was born in 2003.
Yeah, 22.
Yep.
That was 22. Oh, speaking of that, quickly. The Knicks won a very exciting game at the buzzer late Wednesday night into Thursday. And before the game, if you recall, 22 years ago, a little girl, a 13-year-old, sang the national anthem before a playoff game in Portland and kind of freaked out, like she forgot the lyrics. And Mo Cheeks went up to her, put his arm around her, and helped her through the national anthem. The rest of the crowd sang with her, and she was able to finish. She returned to the arena 22 years later as a 35-year-old mom of two and sang the national anthem before the Knicks Blazers game on Wednesday night. And she kicked butt. She sounded amazing, and she reunited with Mo Cheeks. So
that's really cool. And a buzzer beater win for the Knicks too. Really, that's really cool. And Dominguez turned 22 February 7th of this year, so just turned 22 years old.
Yeah,
crazy.
I mean, think about how young you are at 22. When you're 22, you feel like you're old, but with time, you realize you're so young at 22. You have so much ahead of you at 22. Honestly, he has so much ahead of him. He has like 15 years of a career ahead of him. Let's not give up on him. Not yet.
Please don't.
It's too soon. Thank you for making Locked On Yankees your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the Locked On Fantasy Baseball podcast with hosts Dominic Martino and Matthew Ane. MLB Fantasy Draft season is here, so be the most informed fan and set yourself up for a league win. You can find Locked On Fantasy Baseball on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thank you all for sending in your questions. We really appreciate you helping us out every Friday. Again, if you want to be a part of next Fan Mail Friday, leave your question below our videos Monday through Thursday. I put up a pinned comment giving you instructions on where to leave the questions. Or you can join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. The link for that is also in the description. So that's going to do it for this Fan Mail Friday edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsulias.
And I'm Brian McKeon. We'll catch you next week.